Good morning, good people. Today we are starting with our grade 9 lesson. And of course, today we are simply going to focus on revision. The reason being we will probably have some assessments next week. And my HOD was just telling us that we will have to do those assessments starting on the 13th of July. That will be next week. Now, we just have to now revise some of the work, so there will be, today's lesson will be based on a revision. And of course, the starting point for me this morning will be just to look at a wide range of activities without any waste of time. The first one being to calculate the perimeter as well as the area of a rectangle. You'll recall that at some point we did the area as well as the perimeter of shapes. The first one being the rectangle, which was followed by the square, the triangle, and so on and so forth. Different shapes, we have done those up to now. Now, today I want us to just focus on the revision exercise where we are going to calculate the perimeter of a rectangle. At this rectangle, we are told that the length of a rectangle is 27.3 meters and the breadth is 19.56 meters. So if you have your pen and a paper there, please just find a way of calculating the perimeter. Remember, what is the perimeter? We have defined the perimeter as the distance around the edge of the shape. So the distance around the edge of a shape is known as a perimeter. So I hope that this will help you to find the perimeter of a rectangle with ease, because you can then calculate based on the length and the breadth. So if you are given the breadth and the length, it should be easier. Of course, there's a formula that you can use as well. Remember, the formula for the perimeter is 4S. You can, in fact, it's 4, or let's say it's 2 into L plus B for the rectangle. Remember, for the square, it's 4S for sides. You just add all the 4 sides. But even in a rectangle, you still add all the 4 sides, except that the 2 corresponding sides are not equal to the last corresponding sides. One is the length, and then the pair of length. The other one is the breadth, and there are 2 of those. So you can say 2L plus 2B. Alternatively, you can say the perimeter is 2 open bracket L plus B, and then you just have to add the 2. Now I'm giving you this opportunity to reflect as we proceed. So the length, as you can see, it's 27.37. And then, of course, you just have to now, multiply out. And then, of course, you can be able to get your final answer. Remember, the length is 27.37, so you just multiply that by 2. And then you also multiply the breadth by 2. Thereafter, you add both solutions together, and then that will be the perimeter. Is there anyone who has, if you have done it already, please indicate either in the group chat, or you can raise your hand and let me talk to you. Let's engage. We want this lesson to be more fruitful, and then we can be able to engage different participants this afternoon. And of course, we are now calculating the perimeter of this shape. Unkabetse, if you're done, you may proceed to just tell us how did you find the perimeter and what is the value. Tando, I can see that you are also back. Thank you very much. Tando has found the answer there. as to be 93.86. If you can just tell us, Tando, how did you calculate that? You got 93.86. How did you get that, Tando? I don't see any hands. All right, fine. So it should be clear that Tando has managed to add all the four sides. I see Tando's hand is up now. Let's just listen to Tando. Let me just quickly unmute you, or allow yourself to unmute yourself. Please go ahead, Tando.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
I found 93.86. I said 2 into L times L plus B.
Okay.
And then I said 2, and then I put 27.37 plus 19.56. And the answer was 93.86.
Yes, precisely. I fully agree with you. Thank you very much indeed, Tando.
It's a
I
pleasure,
see.
sir.
Yes, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to calculate the perimeter. So yes, 93.86 is the final answer there. So like I said, if you don't want to use the formula, you can just add all of them. You can just say 27.37 plus 27.37 plus 19.56 plus 19.56. And then the answer that you'll get will be 93.86. And that is the final answer in this case. Now, the next one is to just calculate the area. And in this case, remember that we also have the formula to calculate the area of a rectangle, which is given by length multiplied by breadth. And I see Amra has already given us the length and breadth in the group chat. Amra says A is equal to L times B, and area, so the A stands for the area, and the L there is the length, and the B is the breadth. So I realize that, thank you very much, Cleo, welcome to the class. I realize that Amra has been able to correctly put the formula, because it's very important. Remember, the formula to calculate the area of a rectangle is different from that of the area of a triangle or a pentagon or any other shape. And this helps you a lot, when you have to do quite a lot. Even houses are measured in square meters. So usually they take the area. Even stands, if you have to buy a stand in future, or they are calculated in square meters, or yes, square meters in most cases. So that is the area. It is the actual surface area, the terrain that you are talking about. If it's a house, the area will determine how big the size of your house is. You use the area. So in this case, the length is 27.37 and the breadth is 19.56. So if you multiply those together, you will get 535.36 square meters. So now the perimeter in this case will be, in fact, the area in this case will be 535.36 square meters. And that is the area. And we calculate it by using the formula for the area of a rectangle, which is a length times breadth. So welcome back, Cleo. We are now doing the revision part. We will have to write our activities or assessments next week, starting from the 13th. Right, I'm going to proceed to the next one, where we are now calculating the area as well as the perimeter of an equilateral triangle in this case. Firstly, remember the equilateral triangle. What does that mean? What do we mean when we talk about an equilateral triangle? The word equi there comes from equal. So this means that all the three sides are equal. So Tando and Unkabetse have just answered that it means all sides are the same. That's according to Unkabetse, and Tando says all sides are equal. I fully agree with you. In an equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal. So now that it helps a lot to know what kind of a triangle are we talking about. Because once you know the type of triangle, then it will be easier for you to calculate the perimeter, hopefully also to calculate the other one, which is the area. So I'm just going to give you a chance now just to calculate the area of a triangle, and then of course we can take it from there. But for now, let's look at I think you can even start with the perimeter, because according to me, the perimeter will be easier. Remember, in the perimeter, all that you need to do now is just to calculate you are given the three sides. You already have the three sides. I see Unkabets has done that. Unkabets has done, so she has found 90. So the area is 90 days. Is it in centimeters or meters? What is the units there, Unkabets? You found the correct answer. So 90 is correct. 90 centimeters, yes, that's correct. It is in centimeters because remember, the sides of, or the side of the equilateral triangle, each side is 30 centimeters. So since we have defined the perimeter as the distance around the edge, it simply means you will walk around the triangle if you want to know what the distance is, the distance around the edge. Alternatively, you can just add the three sides together, and the final answer that you will get there will be 90 centimeters. I see James also got 90. The same goes for Tando, 90 centimeters. Great. You have found that the correct answer there is 90 centimeters. And of course, this is how I've calculated it. Simply put, perimeter is equal to 30 plus 30 plus 30, which is now 90. So 90 is the final answer. That is the perimeter of the triangle. Can we now proceed to calculate the area? Remember that the second question there was the area of the triangle. So I want us to now calculate the area of the triangle. Can I give you some 20 seconds maybe? Then you can just calculate the area of the triangle. Then let's take it from there. Right, I hope that you are winning. Right, I can see that Tando says that the area is 450. Now, I want you to elaborate. How did you get 450? If you can just elaborate, Tando. Tando, can you elaborate? Right, Onkabetsi says she got 389. I would want you to also elaborate, Onkabetsi. How did you find that? Let me give you a hint, all of you. Remember that we have an equilateral triangle. So if you have a pen and a paper with you, you can see, you can just draw the equilateral triangle on the paper there. Alternatively, you can visualize it, is still fine, but remember, when you draw your triangle, it must have a height. Remember that the area of a triangle is given by the formula half a base times the perpendicular height. Now, in order to find the height, you will have to use the hypotenuse side, which will be 30, and then if you draw a perpendicular side there, it will be half of 30. So meaning that one of the sides there will be 15. So you'll have 15 on one side, you'll have 30 on the other. Then you can use the theorem of Pythagoras to find the missing side. I see that you have changed your half a base times height. So your base will not be 30, your base will be 15. Please note that your base is now 15 because once you draw, yes, all right, your base, exactly. Your base will be 30. Thank you very much. It will be 30. So you say half a base times the perpendicular height. But now what will be your height? You need to find the height there. You need to find the height, Tando. You need to find the height. You need to find the height. And then now, if you draw a perpendicular height, it will be in the middle of the triangle. So it will divide your base into 2. Remember? It will divide your base into 2, and then half of 30 times the perpendicular height, which is now going to be found when you calculate. The height cannot be 30 centimeters. The height cannot be 30. To find the height, you have to cut the triangle into 2. So meaning that you must draw your perpendicular line from the top of your triangle to the base, and then where into 2, it must divide. You'll have 15 and 15. So it will be half of 15, and then that will be right. I can see that you are from there. Unless you want to say something, let me proceed just to demonstrate how I have done it. And of course, you'll realize the importance of the formula. In this case, what I've done, the area of a triangle is half a base times the perpendicular height. So it's half a base, it's half of 30 times the perpendicular height. And then, of course, that is the formula. All right. So the formula there is that you need to say half a base times the perpendicular height. And then, of course, remember, you have to find the height. So half a base, and then to find you take 30 squared, 30 multiplied by 30 is 900, and then you subtract 15 squared. You subtract 15 squared. 15 squared will give you 225. So if you subtract 225 from 900, then you will get 675. So meaning that the other side, or the missing side rather, is the square root of 675. And thereafter you multiply the square root of 675 by half of the base, and the final answer will be 195. So meaning that your area will be 195 square centimeters. All right. So Tando, the 225 is just the 15 squared. That's half of the base there. 15 squared if you are using Pythagoras. I hope that it makes sense. But for now, I just want us to simplify the following activities. Remember, these are the activities that we need to do so desperately to prepare also for our upcoming assessment. It may be an assignment or any other assessment. We will just have to give it to you. That is the week where we will start with our assessments. So now I want us to simplify these algebraic expressions. We are given three of those: 4b plus 2b minus open bracket minus 5b, and then minus 16b, and of course followed by 8a squared plus 2 minus, and then open bracket, minus 4a squared plus 6a minus 7 plus 4a. And then the last one is there as well. These are called algebraic expressions. We need to now simplify these algebraic expressions. But before we simplify this, I will come back to this. I want us to also, I hope that you have seen this, this activity 3 now, where we need to simplify the algebraic expressions. And then, of course, like I said, we'll just come to activity 3. I just want us to firstly determine the products of this activity 4. So let's deal with activity 4 first, and thereafter we will finalize activity 3. We need to now determine the following products. So you are multiplying a binomial by a binomial. We have done this in the past. And then, of course, what we need to do now is just to revise. I want you to multiply the first binomial. The first one is P minus 6Q plus 2C plus 3D. So remember, I said the first things first, you need to multiply a P with the entire bracket, meaning that the second bracket, and thereafter you take a negative 6Q, and then again you multiply that with the second bracket. Can we just proceed with that? I'm just going to give you a chance to do that. Let's do that. Let us do that. And of course, let's find the way to solve these problems. Just to expand, you are simply expanding your terrain. Remember, if it's like this, it's more like a monomial because you are just multiplying a term by a term. You have got brackets there, so you just have to expand it. Right? I don't see any answers yet. Let's zoom directly into the first one now. Let's zoom into the first one. Just as an example, you can see that we have P minus 6Q into 2C plus 3D. Right. I'm just going to show you that what we have here is a multiplication of binomials. And then all that you need to do is to take the first term and then multiply it with the second bracket there. The first term from the first bracket, you multiply it out with the first with the second bracket. Like in this case, you've got P into 2C plus 3D. That is what you have. Then minus 6Q into 2C plus 3D. So you can see that 2C plus 3D appears twice. You firstly multiply the first term there, which is P, by the binomial, and thereafter you come to the second term, which is now negative 6Q. So the first things first, you will just have to now take a P and multiply it by 2C. So this becomes 2CP. Remember, we just write our symbols or variables in the correct format of in alphabetic order. So C comes before P, then you write C, and then comes P. The second one again, you multiply P by 3D, and then your answer will be 3DP. So again, in alphabetic order. And then, of course, you have negative 6Q times 2C. So here you've got two numbers, as you can see, or two coefficients, 6 and 2. And the 6 is negative, and then the 2 is positive. So all that you need to do is to multiply 6 by 2 to get 12. Remember, the 6 is negative, therefore, even the 12 will be negative, and then Q times C is CQ. And then thereafter, you multiply the last term there, so it will be negative 6Q times 3D. I'm sure you can see that. Remember, 3D is positive, and then we have negative 6Q. So as always, you start with the numbers. Negative 6 times 3, which is positive, then you'll have negative 18. And then Q times D will give you DQ. Remember, we write it in alphabetic order. So it will be 18 DQ. So at this point, I've decided to leave our answer there. Who can tell me why do we leave the answer here? Is there anyone who can tell why do we leave the answer here? Why don't we proceed? The answer shall be left here for the simple reason that, or that Ambra has just indicated that because there are no like terms. And I agree with you, Ambra, you are correct. We leave the answer here because there are no like terms. So Tando also says no like terms. Cleo says it cannot be simplified further. You're right, Cleo. Unkabet also said there are no like terms. So there isn't like terms as Unkabet put it. So you can rather leave your answer at that level now. Now that I've demonstrated to you the first one there, I hope that you can be able to proceed with the rest. So let's take one there as an example. And then I want you now to do number 2, which is 4x plus 1 into x minus 1. I hope you also have a pen and a paper with you, and you can be able to solve this problem. Please use your pen and paper, and in the same way, you are going to solve it in the same way that we have done with the first one. Remember, you will take 4x and then into x minus 3, plus 1 into x minus 3, and thereafter, you simply calculate. You multiply out. You break your brackets. In other words, you break the brackets, and then if there are any like terms, then you can collect or group the like terms together. And then if there are no like terms, then it means you can just leave your answer as it is. So very important. We rely on the like terms if we need to add anything. Without the like terms, then you can leave your answer. It's not necessary to simplify if there are no like terms. Can we start with the second one? Then let's look at the answer. Right. I hope that you are busy with that and you are busy calculating. I just need to hear your thoughts around this. How much did you get? Amra has not yet come back to us. See, this is the previous answer of no lag terms together with Unkabitz and Clio. Can we now solve the expression and then by multiplying? Remember, I've already given you a hint. The first things first, you will have to expand your terrain there. So you'll have 4x into x minus 3. That is what you'll have. 4x into x minus 3 and then plus 1 into x minus 3. So at that point, you can just calculate and collect the like terms. Is there anyone who's done? I think so, yes. Onkabetse has got your formula there. 4 into x minus 3 and then 1 into x minus 3. Okay, right. I can see what you have done there. Then 4x minus 12. Right. Okay, let's proceed now to Ali G. You have 4x squared minus 12x plus x minus 3. Perfect. I agree with you there, Ali G. You found the correct answer. So 4x squared minus 12x plus minus 3. In fact, 4x squared minus 12x plus x minus 3. So you do have a leg terms. And then, of course, I see, Unkabetse, your point is taken. Okay, thank you very much. Amra also found 4x squared minus 12x minus 3. Amra is minus 12x. What about the x? What happened to the x? Can you just double check? There's an x which you did not add. I see your form, your equation now, or your expression rather, is 4x squared minus 12x minus 3. But Tando, I fully agree with you. You have 4x squared minus 12x plus x minus 3. And Clio has correctly collected the like terms. Remember, the like terms in this case is negative 12x and x. So I like the fact that Clio has managed to add the two together, or just to subtract one from the other. Clio has got the correct answer there. And Amra, I see you have now included the x. Perfect. So the 4x squared minus 12x plus x minus 3. Thank you very much indeed, Ali G. You led all of us to solve the second one. So if you look at what we have done here, we have 4x and then open bracket x minus 3. So basically, the second step is just an expansion of the problem. In fact, you are just expanding there. And if you expand, you take the first term of the first bracket, you multiply it out with the second bracket. And thereafter, you take the second term of the first bracket, you multiply it out with the second bracket. And then of importance is to realize that if you multiply 4x and x, you get 4x squared. And then 4x times negative 3, you will get negative 12x. And then if you multiply 1 by x, you get x. And if you multiply 1 by negative 3, you will get negative 3. Thereafter, the like terms that you have there is negative 12x, as well as positive x. So basically, you have the like terms, and then if you group them together, negative 12x plus x will give you negative 11x. So the final answer there, you will have 4x squared minus 11x minus 3. Well done, everybody. as Ali G has just put it. So we are done with the second one. I hope everyone has seen how we have solved that problem. We are just determining the product of the two binomials. So we've just done the first one. In fact, the second one, the answer that we have, all of us, 4x squared minus 11x minus 3. Can we now move to the third one? A squared minus 3b, close bracket, open bracket, 2a squared minus b, and then you close your bracket. Can we expand this monomial? Because as it is a monomial. Remember, we are just, when you multiply two terms together, a times b is ab. So ab is a monomial. It's just one term. So now we have to expand on these brackets. Can we expand, and then if there are any like terms, once again, let's collect those like terms. If there are any, let's collect them. If there are any like terms, let's collect the like terms. So we have a squared minus 3b, and then open bracket 2a squared minus b. That is what we have. And then if there's any like terms, by all means, let's collect those. If there are no like terms, then that's okay. That is okay. Let's find a way to solve this. So Ali G, again, you are the first, and you found 2a to the power of 4 minus a squared b minus 6b a squared there plus 3b squared. Right, let's determine, I just want to see something. If there's anyone at all who still wants to add, let's see, Tando as well says 2a to the power 4 minus ab squared minus 6ab squared minus b minus 3b squared. And then the final answer for Tando, 2a to the power of 4. I fully agree with 2a to the power of 4, and then minus 6 minus 3b squared. That is the answer for Tando Gubani. Let me thank Tando Gubani and Ali G for taking the time to do this problem, but also to share your thoughts with us. Now, the first things first is that we are proceeding with the monomial, which we are now expanding. As you can see, I've just expanded it as follows: a squared, that's the first one, and then you multiply it out with the second bracket, and then you come to the second term of the first bracket, minus 3b, and then you multiply it out with the bracket. And then, of course, if you multiply a squared times 2a squared, remember, next to a squared there, we always have the invisible one. So Cleo, I can see your answer there. Tando, thank you very much indeed. James, now thanks everybody for just taking the time as well to answer. We now say that a squared times 2a squared is 2a to the power 4. So as you can see, the first answer there will be 2a to the power 4. Why is the exponent 4? Remember, when you multiply two powers with the same base, you add the exponents. So this takes us back to one of the lessons which you have already done, that is exponents. In exponents, you were taught that anytime when you multiply two powers with the same base, all that you do now, you add the exponents. So the exponents in this case is 2 for a squared, and then it's another 2 there for 2a squared. So 2 plus 2 is 4. That's how we found 2a to the power 4. And then the second step is to multiply a squared by b, which is negative there. Then you'll have negative a squared b. right? And then you leave your first bracket now. Now you come to the second bracket. Now that you have broken the first bracket, you come to break the second bracket. And how do you break the bracket? You multiply negative 3b by 2a squared. So remember, you now have the two coefficients. In the coefficient of b is negative 3, and the coefficient of a squared there is 2. So if you multiply negative 3 by 2, you will get negative 6. And then if you multiply b and a squared, you will get a squared b. So meaning that your answer there will be negative 6a squared b and minus 3b squared. So the last one, 3b times b, 3b squared. I like the fact that you have tried. Very great, Ali G. I'm interacting with you as well in the group chat. I can see your comments, and that's great. Thank you very much indeed. So the last point will be to just collect the like terms, and then negative a squared b and negative 6a squared b. Remember, negative plus negative will give you negative. So if you have negative 1 and then you add another negative 1 there, then you left negative 2. So even in this case, it's the same. We have negative a squared b minus 6a squared b. That will be negative 7a squared b. So that will be our middle term. So the last two, quickly, we proceed as follows without any waste of time. You can see that this is what we also call the difference of two squares. So that's how we call it, the difference of two squares. In this case, you follow the same procedure. I see that Unkabetse has got a squared and then plus ab minus 25b. All right, Ali G, I see that you are looking at the answers there. Right, what is important in this case is to realize that this is what we call, this is the factorized expression of the difference of two squares. You probably recall we did the difference of two squares. In the same note, you break your brackets, you'll see that a times a is a squared, and then 5ab minus 5ab there, plus, the last one is negative 25 squared, or 25b squared rather. And then 5ab minus 5ab is 0. And then the last one will be a squared minus 25b squared. So I'm rushing a bit. I hope that I don't leave you behind. The next one as well is also the difference of two squares, or it's rather the factorized version of the difference of two squares. So 3x minus 4y into 3x plus 4y. Remember, we once had a similar problem, x minus y into x plus y. And I said those are the factors of the difference of two squares, x squared minus y squared. So even in this case, you can tell that once you have solved your problem there, you will definitely go to the difference of two squares, which is 9x squared minus 16y squared. I'm not going to leave you alone without any homework. I said we will come to this activity 3, which you can do at home just to simplify the expression. So this serves as your homework. Once again, this lesson was brought to you by the STEM Digital School in collaboration with the Sasol Foundation. Until we meet again tomorrow, thank you very much indeed.